Hello mga ka-senior. Today we are now here in Bamban, Tarlac, and we are in front of the Bamban World War II Museum, and today we will be doing a tour of this very historic museum, and we will be visiting several Japanese World War II tunnels. So join me as we explore these hidden spots, attractions here in Bamban, Tarlac. Let's go! Inside the museum.
Two sets. One is the 1941, 1942, yes. I'll be making another book for that. And the Battle of Bamban, 1945. In the 1941, 1942, we were on the defensive. In the Battle of 1945, we were on the offensive. Yeah, train shots. It's a book about rain ride. So actually, this is after the fall of Corregidor and Bataan. And the reason, this is the only photograph of the American generals from the Bataan and Corregidor battlefield. Name them: Wainwright, King, Ruger, Pierce. Okay, they have their names here. Jones, McBride. These guys fought in the battlefield. Japan and eventually to Manchuria, where they greeted the end of the war. The Russians came there, they were rescued by the Russians. You know, at that time, Russia and America were allies. So, that's the story of... It's just here, the highway, the original highway, and the fifth. And Jonathan Wainwright, at that time the commander of the Northwestern Corps, moved from Stutzenberg. It was December 13th. Here, you can still see from here. Yeah, that ruins over there. He stayed on the second floor. That used to be a second floor building. But
I want to hear it again.
Our new visitors, so it's very important that.
How long is the drive?
Malapit lang, sa matter of 3 minutes like that.
Kami po, welcome to Bamban World War II Museum. Dito po yung way.
Okay, thanks so.
World War II battlefield.
Wow.
This was the battle that
Ulo mo, dandaan. Taas ni Joseph Pegano. Guess dito mo sa...
ito Ranos dito sa Fort Stutzenberg. They call it Fort Stutzenberg noong American ito po, they were old photos that were taken during World War II. Nirecognize mo ng US kasi tumulong sila sa allies na ito yung leader ng Philippines.
These are the war tunnels that we're going to visit later on.
Na lumaban during war. Inspiration niya para mabuo itong meron pa rin po.
Hope, can I add something about flag raising? When I was at the international conference in World War II in 2017 at the Holy Angel University, and I was delivering my lecture about World War II here in Bamban. And I have a huge audience, and one of them, a general in the Philippine Army, and he raised a question: how come it's not written in the history book? This is the first time I heard about that. And do you have any proof? Probably it's just a battalion that fought over there in Bamban. And I told the audience, no. Okay, let me just show you one picture that tells it all. And I showed them the flag raising. You cannot, the American military will not even raise a flag if it's just a small skirmish.
Right.
And I told them it's comparable to Iwo Jima. The only difference is that the Iwo Jima's famous and iconic flag raising is because a photographer was there, Joe Rosenthal, and the Marines, they already raised the small flag just like this. But they said, oh, we'll come back and take a photograph of you. And of course, he was a photographer, so they have a nice pose like this. But this is the real flag raising. You could see the guys with fixed bayonets, and one guy standing looking for the Japanese who were just around firing at them. It was quick. They don't have any shovel, so they improvise. And the scene was caught in camera. Even in camera, I want to go to the U.S. National Archives to get a film of this. There should be a film. I already searched it. Yeah, so for me, this symbolizes World War II in the Philippines. If the whole world has the Iwo Jima flag raising in the Philippines, at least 1945, that's it. And I donated a copy of this to the U.S. Embassy in Manila, and it's now. If you see this kind of photograph, that's ours.
Where's the film of this?
Please come up. World War II. You know, these items you can still find some of them. You know, in here in Pampanga, Tarlac, and Zambales. To the east of Luzon, the Dumagat, you know. But behind these indigenous people is history, part of their history and share of their history in World War II, in fighting for freedom. You know, the Ita Negritos were the ones who saved a lot of American officers. At that time, it was the darkest days in the history of the Philippines. We were attacked by Japan, occupied by Japan, but it was these Negritos that the Japanese never captured or conquered. And from their mountain hideout, you know, they took care of the American officers. Colonel Claudator, name all of them. Okay, Colonel Giles Merrill. Who are these guys? These are the guys who started the use of air resistance. From the battlefields of Bataan, they moved to the back of Stutzenberg, where the Ita Negritos were concentrated. And from there, Colonel Thorpe decided to organize the whole resistance in Luzon, putting some of his men in every province. Put them in the frame. You know, it's not an easy task to put up a museum, especially World War II. But this, I was able to put all of this. Yep. So, assistant curator.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
So, ito po, these are the collections that Sir Rhonie had researched. And these are some of the uniforms that donated by Sir Gerald Randy Anderson.
You know, Gerald Anderson, his father is connected here.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's actually, I was at the episode of the Lost Gold of World War II. on the episode 2.
History Channel?
History Channel, yes. Yeah, and I was discussing about the Japanese tunnels. And supposedly we'll be shooting the 3rd episode, but the pandemic, we had a problem. But now, the Discovery Channel, okay, Exploration Unknown, we will be doing the shooting this coming 2nd week of December.
Oh.
Again, it's the Japanese tunnels. Yeah. Real. But not on the sense of putting the name Yamashita.
What do you mean? Not everything is from Yamashita?
It's not connected with General Yamashita. No. In fact, there is a book published by Mizumi. The author is Mizumi, and the title of the book, The Jungle of No Mercy. So it was just on a small unit, here assigned in Clark area. Mizumi, a corporal in the Imperial Japanese Army, he was tasked to bury a treasure. And if you take a look at that book, The Jungle of No Mercy, it says there were some gold bars like that, jewelries. They put them in a drum about less than 20 feet, where they're Clark Airfield. It's all there. So there are things like this. So whenever people ask me about Yamashita, it's not proper to use Yamashita treasure. For me, we call them Japanese World War II buried treasure. Because not everything is connected with Yamashita. Even smaller units, they have their own. And that's one top former Japanese army soldier who made his war memoirs into a book detailing how he buried the treasure.
So, very interesting ang mga lecture ni Rhonie. A lot of histories about golds and World War II and hidden treasures and Japanese army. So, marami pa tayong mag-discover. We're now going to the tunnels where some of the golds are probably hidden. So, let's go.
The artifacts we recovered, in fact, some of the bones we also recovered. And based on my research, actually, the Japanese really put up the rails and mounted light artillery. The reason is that overlooking the position was the highway where the U.S. Army would pass and use on the way to Manila and Clark Airfield. So by having those tunnels over there and with the light artillery, they're going to give a lot of headache to the U.S. Army. But when the U.S. Army found out, they sent some reconnaissance light airplane, and when they saw the flashes, then they contacted the artillery. They changed the course and the target, and these were all sealed. Even to these days, almost 8 years after the war ended, there is always the possibility of these sealed tunnels. Our group will open them up, recover whatever artifacts, human remains, bring them home. And you could still see the dark spots, which is the blood of the soldier Owens. And the name of the soldier is Masao Inoue. We translated this, and here's the translation with all the names written. It was actually a typical of the Japanese tradition and culture that before the member of the family to go out of the country to fight for the war effort, he will be given like this with the signature of his mom, dad, or brothers, sisters, and uncles, and everybody in the neighborhood.
Laki o pagpataas na kailangan daw malaki.
And I said, so what's this all about then? He did the research.
Yes, so Colt model 1908 West pocket pistol. 25, it says 25 millimeters here, but actually 25 inches ACP. Where's the photo?
American weapon? Sorry, in Japanese.
Is there a photograph?
Before, I thought it was maybe yung kamikaze Japanese. But then, it turns out it was actually an American pistol used by the OSS. The OSS is the ancestor of the CIA. So these were used by female agents of the CIA, sort of, in World War II. So basically, those are like assassination pistols.
Wow.
This is the comparison.
Can I see?
How come it looks like it's melted?
Oh yeah. How? It's exactly. Yeah.
How come it
Yeah,
looks
could you please send me that?
We have a streamer. Yes, thank you very much, Rhonie.
Can you join us for...
Yeah, meron pa streamer.
Indonesia, if you go to Indonesia, they call it Bamban. Bambang.
Bamban.
And it thrives near the water, I mean, river, stream
I
like
thought
that.
Bamban's Miss River.
There's a Bamban River, but it also came from this plant.
Oh.
And you know, guys, I'm the one who created the logo of this municipality, and I integrated this Bamban.
Wow.
And also the World War II, the itinerary.
We're now proceeding to the tunnels and exploring the tunnels, World War II, Japanese tunnels. We're already moving, driving.
For the Limasawa, which is the other side.
Akit yata tayo sa bundok na yan.
Mas malalim.
Papunta pa lang Goshen. Yeah.
Dahil sa Nagura.
Kaliwa tayo, tita.
Hindi pa siya sakit ng aso.
Going to New Clark City and Clark Airport. Eventually, the train will go all the way to New Clark City. The new north train. That's the grotto. It's sa taas.
May kami Japanese samurai sa bahay.
Oo. It's a pilgrimage site.
Liberation.
But I think it's a
Pinaayos namin.
historic site.
High school ako. Kasi naano na yung tap.
So, dito na kami, naglalakad na. This is the road that leads to New Clark City. At malapit siya doon sa may grotto sa taas. Pero di siya tayo dyan pupunta. Pupunta tayo sa mga World War II tunnels. Papunta na tayo sa exciting part. Papasok na tayo sa mga tunnels. Tunnel vision. Okay. Dito. Ah, talaga? Seryoso? Akit tayo dyan?
Doon lang tayo sa kalahati.
Okay.
Second level lang tayo.
Okay. Ano to dating lugar na to?
It's part of the Bamban, the Lourdes Grotto, they call it.
Ito sa apo to.
Puto ba itong bata na to? Oh.
Oo.
Tumatakbo pa.
Ay, lakas nito. Wala kami, matatanda na kami.
We're climbing up.
Tanggalin nyo na yung mask. Mahirap kuminga pag may mask.
Diyan kami makiat. Mataas pala. Yan yung highway, oh. And then, ito yung grotto. Kaway kayo, kaway. And then, dito kami pupunta sa kaliwa. Yay! Lulusot tayo dito. Ooh, overlooking. And there's a tunnel. Really, seriously. May tunnel.
Oh, congratulations. So,
Jazz.
nice to...
Congratulations, Jazz.
Nice warm up.
Oh my God.
Papunta pa lang tayo sa exciting part.
Okay, guys. So this is the route of our trek, the World War II trek. So from the museum, we are now here on the number 2, the grotto.
Okay.
We have 2 tunnels. From here, we will go to the other side.
Yeah.
There are 2 tunnels over there.
Oh.
This is the photograph of this grotto taken on January 21, 1945. As you could see here, the white spots represents the tunnels that were bombarded by the U.S. Army. Artillery, tanks, and aerial bombardment. This is what you call the Hasahiyama. Hasahiyama in Japan means a mountain facing the east. It was actually the old name for Japan. And during the wartime, the American army made a sketch. The Japanese army, at that time in January, commanded by General Chokada, they decided not to fight the Americans on a face-to-face strategy, but rather they will go up into the mountains, overlooking the highway over there. This is the kind of a tunnel defense system that the Japanese made on all of these tunnels. You can see here, one ridge line alone has a lot of tunnels. And from this vantage, you could see the highway going to Manila. Okay? And Clark Airfield will be just on the southwest, Clark Airfield to the east, Bamban Airfield to the north. And by holding all of this ridge line over here, fortified with tunnels, they can fire on the Americans crossing this highway. As long as they could hold this mountain position, the Americans will have a big headache in utilizing the Clark Air Center, and that's their primary objectives. Okay, we will go here. That's based on the U.S. Army's intelligence report. It is because Bamban Hills, just like the other hills and mountains in the vicinity of Mount Pinatubo, they are all volcanic by origin. That's why Iwo Jima, you know, there is a volcano over there. It's the same as here. Strong rock, way back in the Mount Pinatubo eruption, every 5 minutes we felt something like a 5 magnitude earthquake. But look, they're still here. So the Japanese engineers were right. By utilizing the mountains and ridges of Bamban, dig a hole like this, then they can keep on fighting the Americans. And in this photograph here, taken on January 23, 1945 at the height of the Battle of Bamban Hills, you can see an American M7 howitzer tank. This mountain is same. And we are on this side right now, okay? And you can see those white spots over there were actually tunnels sealed by the Americans. When you dug a tunnel, of course, you throw out the debris, and these are the debris. And
We're now entering tunnel.
okay, from here, okay. This is another photograph of a U.S. Army taken on this side of the mountain. This is on the right side. You can still see a lot of these white spots representing tunnels. Today, there are only about 2 or 3 tunnels. So if you count them, they'll run up to about 12 or 15 tunnels. So there should be another 10 tunnels. And that's our mission. Search for the tunnels, open them up, get the relics, put them in a museum, and for the remains of the warhead, bring them home. Okay? This is a cross-section of a typical tunnel defense system. You know, that the Americans, when they came here, they were surprised to see how the Japanese cleverly turned this simple hill into a fortified position. The blackened surface on the ceiling and some of the wall on the side, what that is means of. This is a very strong proof that these were fired with flamethrowers, with napalm, okay, incendiary. In a plain language, the Americans burned this literally. Oh. And that's why they have the kamikaze special attack forces. And here is the same story. They won't surrender, and it's the only way to flush them out, not even flushing them out, but to cook them. And there was some technology you will see there. Thank you. Proceed much. I don't know if you shoot it, you can see go order. I have a woods here, so it's okay with me. Where's my videographer? How are you there? Okay, you can move order. little bit. I'm okay. I'm good. I can stay here.
Slippery?
Some of the guys should move here. Then dressing. Yeah, that's good. Dressing. Paula, where are you? You can take pictures and video from that vantage and then move here, okay? I'll make a video in my YouTube channel.
Kamusta yung oxygen levels dito?
Okay. Actually, there's supposed to be an exhaust system on this tunnel, but probably due to the erosion after more than about 8 years, so these were clogged. But typically, we've seen a lot of tunnels like this. They have really exhaust system. Okay, and this goes all the way even to that area. So guys, think how many volume of fire that was literally. I don't like to use the word cooking, but tragically it's literally something like that. But it was war. It was a terrible war, And you guys, by coming here, joining the tour, you could see. Sites. Not every town has the opportunity to have a heritage site, a battlefield site that now is becoming very popular. The Department of Tourism now embarked on a program of World War II tour. The same as what I'm doing. Okay, it is because of what we're doing to preserve and to promote. Typically, this kind of tunnel, you could put probably 100 troops. 100 troops, that's a company size, isn't it? It's a company size. And in this hill alone, there are about 500 Chinese troops.
You can play if it's a video. Okay. Thank you. Tunnel na pinasok natin.
Dito lang.
Yes.
Sir?
Doon tayo galing sa tunnel na yan. We are trekking again. Lalakad tayo dito. Very interesting adventure. Kakaiba. World War II tunnel. Ang dami palang sikreto nitong Bamban. Hindi lang natin nalaman dito. So, yes, we're still hiking. Last one. Okay.
Okay.
Hi!
Sige po, proceed.
Ito sa baba. Kasi walang way dito.
Dito rin ang daan pabalik.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
May rappelling pa pala. Yan.
May team naman.
Mayroon pang rappelling.
Mamaya, I cannot drink from this position.
I'll wait na lang po.
Pao, bili mo pa yung katalan mo. Bili mo pa hindi. Everything, bili mo.
May rappelling pa tayo. Doon tayo pupunta sa baba.
Dito lang, yan.
Ayaw
Okay.
i-challenge.
Opo, si Al.
Oo, kala namin bagyo. Meron pong bagyo pero hindi siya dito nag-spam.
We're doing this. Okay, we're doing this.
Okay.
Sige, sir.
Nagisa nila? Puta. Kumakain ko.
Kaya ko pa yun. Ano, mag-inom po kang pao. Bawas po dyan. Ano, yung pa.
Okay. Oh, finally. Thank you.
Okay.
We're going inside another tunnel. Okay. Pasok na naman tayong gate.
Hello.
It's another tunnel.
Thank you for all your effort. This much. We cannot now move out there because of the rainy season, but at least we can see from this view how big is this tunnel. Okay. I need the lights.
Some graffitis.
I don't know. But, palitan naman dito. Palitan naman dito na. Kung nanditang light ang kahit. Okay, some of you can, yeah. Here, din mo kung lighting na. Ay, makina ko. The lighting is okay. Okay, kumpleto na ba tayo? Sila start? Okay.
pa si ano?
Ito na ako, nandito na ako.
Okay. So actually guys, could you please put some light over there? Okay, you can see this is way bigger than the one we closed. Okay, and the only thing that's a little bit problem now is the mud because the super typhoon Kirby was in fact where we were on the eye of the storm, literally. So, napakalakas na ulan yung dinamp niya, no? Kaya nag-flood siya. But by December, wala na ito lahat. We can go all inside. But in fact, lights please, we did already mapping of this tunnel. So it's a U-shape like this one. Okay? Ito yung entrance niya, gagano'n siya. Okay? Ito yung side view niya, ito yung saan tayo pumasok. So it's something like 150 to less than 200 feet in depth from here to there. At yung width nito, mas siya, aabot ng 10 feet. And the height, doon sa dulo doon, meron kami tinatawag na cathedral dome. Alam niyo kung bakit? Napakaluwang na doon sa taas. Kaya lang talagang yung sa mga shoes natin dito ay po pwede doon. No? Dito on this side, ito yung tinatawag ko na cathedral dome. And by looking at this tunnel, you couldn't find the black surface. Yeah. Sa lahat ng tunnel na nilabanan ng mga Amerikano, pinaputok yan ng flamethrower, binomba ng minsan literally, alam nyo, diesel, petrol. But ito wala. From the beginning of the tunnel up to the end. The reason is that, in my theory, during the war, the Japanese purposely sealed this. Businesses came out. Yeah, dyan nagka-problema ang mga Japanese. They had a program of recovery of these war remains, and it turned out the Filipinos were just taking bones from the local cemetery. Okay? Ano naman ang Pinoy? Di ba? So what happened was that in-stop yun, ang ginawa ng Japanese government, they copied the process and procedures of the American JPAC. Sila yung official agency ng US government in the recovery of war remains. No? And now, they had just established a government-to-government program in the recovery of these war remains. On the internet, how the Japanese, make tunnels. So you could see here, crew taking up debris using some improvised containers. Okay. Okay, before we leave, I have a very important presentation. Lights please. This is a document I got from the U.S. National Archives, from the 108 Infantry 40th Division U.S. Army, the unit that fought here, okay, in Bamban area. And please listen up. I'll be reading it. Morning of 27 January 1945, Company F, 108 Infantry captured Job Supply Dam. Supply dam. This is a supply dam. Company later forced to withdraw due to the Japanese machine gun fire. Will we take the dam tomorrow or destroy by mortar? Okay. Dump is in tunnel and contains 800 bags of rice. 800. 6,000 cases of ammunition, 50% grenades. 1 submachine gun, 1 destroyed vehicle inside the tunnel. 1 vehicle in good condition, running condition. Unstated amount of dynamite, 3 bicycles, 1 gun sight, 1 possible 47mm gun, anti-tank gun inside the tunnel. Electrical equipment, lighting, transformer, 1 small generator, some office supply equipment. And it says here, okay, G2 section, that's intelligence, secret. And that's just 1 tunnel. How many tunnels are there just in this vicinity?
It's a depot.
Name it. Anti-tank gun, 47mm. Vehicles, 600 bags of rice. Put them inside the tunnel. You know, that's why we're trying to find sealed tunnels. If we can find one, you're literally going back in time. You can see all of these vehicles inside, and probably with some Japanese skeleton just sitting down on the floor, or just lying down on the floor. It's gonna be a great discovery. Put a small dynamite and it will make a diameter. So diameter. Then from there, ginagano nila sa piko.
Wow.
Hanggang ngayon, makikita mo pa yung traces ng ano niya, pagpipiko niya.
Wow.
It's getting out of the tunnel. Very narrow.
Getting out of the second tunnel.
Yes.
How did you
Very narrow entry.
Bamban Grotto.
Thanks, brother.
So if you think going down is easy, it's difficult. Going up is more difficult.
That's against the gravity.
Yes. Particularly for heavy people like us. We're going up there. We just completed our second tunnel. We're moving to another tunnel. I hope. Yes.
Squeeze a little bit. Squeeze a little.
Tunnel.
You want to get in there? I can take a picture for you.
They captured San Fernando. From San Fernando, they attacked Mexico, Angeles, Bacolor. Then they captured Angeles. From Angeles, Bamban, Magalang, and Capas. Then the north. And that's what I meant. That's why I'm very familiar with the light battery E. First US.
He was the last of his regiment in 1967, and he died. Yes, and he never left.
You know, another family, Charles Ryan. He was with the 12 years infantry. Onishi Jinja. In Japanese, it's a shrine. It's actually a peace shrine. But this is no ordinary shrine. It was here about almost 8 years ago. The Imperial Japanese Navy's combined air fleet, combined meaning 2 air fleets, the Air Force Navy, moved from Nichols Field to here. In 2000, I was in Japan. I was actually on an internship, and I worked about 2 years. And I met this guy, his name is Oji Chikanori. Oji-san was in fact the secretary of Onishi Chujo, the admiral. And Onishi Chujo was no ordinary admiral. He was the one who became known as the father of the kamikaze special attack forces. And there is a photograph way back in the 70s and 80s and late 80s. Annually, it comes to Bamban. This was actually in the grotto, taken in the grotto. And at the back, you could see 2 small hills. At our back are the 2 small hills they call the East and West Hill. And these 2 hills were in fact became the headquarter facility of the Japanese Combined Air Fleet. At that time, he was the secretary of Admiral Onishi. This is Admiral Onishi. And he gave me 20,000 yen sa ating mga Pilipino. 2 lapad. And he told me, Rhonie, could you please buy me flowers? Offered the flowers to the site where we were there in Bamban at that time. And please pray for all the wounded. So I received the money, but I told him no. I'll never buy flowers for you. As you intended, we will make a peace, right? And I told him, what will be the design? You go to the, since that's some sort of a spiritual, you go to the tombstone of Admiral Onishi, which is the exact replica of Admiral Onishi. And so I came back from Japan, and immediately we did this. I came here October 18. By October 25, we had a ceremony. And we have visitors, the local government, some Filipino veterans who fought in this place at that time. Some of them are still alive at that time, 2001. Yeah. And yes, so this is the Japanese peace shrine in Bamban. And a piece of plywood. But what matters here is the history that happened in this place.
Another hiking to another tunnel. So doon tayo shrine. And then here's another tunnel.
Ito, grabe to, ang nangyari dito.
Oo nga eh.
Ano yung mga puno dito?
Malakas ang bagyo dito.
Lakas! Ano, dito din kaya katangkay, kalakad mo, pato.
May isang tunnel pala. Ayun, doon tayo papasok.
Kaya sa dalawa nyo kaya. Yan. Diyan muna tayo maglinya. Sige.
Another tunnel.
Ito, sa lakas ng bagyo. Ito, tinapon niya.
Oo nga eh.
Oo. Okay, I'll start it up. We already mapped this. And this is the mapping we did on this tunnel. This is the entrance here. Okay. And it goes another U-shaped tunnel. If you remember, those tunnels were U-shaped, the same. But this one is extra because it's the Japanese tunnel headquarters. The Japanese Imperial Navy's Air Forces headquarters was moved here from Nikko on November 19 up to January 10, 1945. And when we did the mapping, this is about 77 meters from the entrance to the exit, or approximately 252 feet in length. Okay, it has a diameter of 8 to 12 feet. Okay, the height and the width something like 6 to 10 feet. So this is 6 feet like this, and it goes to when you go inside, the way becomes bigger. Here, this is it. Okay, so we will go inside.
Is there a possibility po na there could be a secret tunnel side secret tunnel? Hindi pa naka-semento na po sa amin.
You're right.
Maybe
That's
could
the
just like X-rays or something.
Before I leave Japan, okay, Moji-san called me up. It was 12 midnight. It's not typical for a Japanese to call in the middle of the night. No, that's not their culture, you know. And he told me, Rhonie, I want to tell you something. There's something important, more important than the military thing, that we left there. But he didn't elaborate. And I asked him, Papa Moji, could you please draw the headquarter based on your memory? And then he did it, and he gave it to me.
Much more complicated.
No, in what you're talking, this guy is really genius. I like that question. You're like the Japanese. The most difficult questions that I ever encountered in my public history comes from the Japanese students like you. And yeah, you're right. Now, how can we prove that there are secret chamber behind of this wall? We use thermal imaging camera. Yeah. Some they use the ground scanner, but ground scanner you're pointing on the wave down. But on the wall, I don't know. We haven't tried. We'll try probably next time. But we use a thermal imaging camera because if there's a void over there, there should be a change in the temperature that will appear on the screen. But we haven't tried this one.
Okay.
Okay, go.
It's muddy.
A very tall cave.
Tumuna ako. Okay, a little
bit muddy.
Muddy, then just levitate off the ground.
A little bit, it's not that much, but it depends on your shoes. If you have very good, you know, care and
I can
feel,
see it.
the only one. Okay. Sulat na tayo, nagpunta kami dito. May tubig na. Okay. That's good. Oh, yan, ganito sila dyan. Okay, naka muna pa.
Also, this is letter U.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we're at the, we will turn left.
Okay, class. Okay, okay. Nandun naman si Buddy. Sige, on side. Buds, placetan mo lang.
May ano po, may hanggang.
Doon lang sa side na yun.
Dito lang po. Dito.
Yeah, yeah.
It's getting more difficult.
Alalayan mo, Buds. Buds, alalayan mo.
Very technical ang game na to because of the mud. Recent flooding.
Pau! Kenny, mulay ka, Kenny. Mag-video ka. Habang mag-cross lang. Kumain ang eksena.
I will not go there.
Okay.
Ay, ano ko na mo?
Medyo malalim doon. Yes. Malalim at mabutik. Careful, careful.
Wow. Okay.
Stable, stable.
Pwede kaya po bilhin niyo po yung 1,000 lumen.
Okay.
Kasi meron siyang exhaust.
Huwag lang po kayo dun.
It has exhaust, that's why it's called. At unlike yung sa taas.
Ah.
Pwede pong ba? Paano na?
Okay.
Sige po, diretso lang po kayo.
Diretso na.
Ano lang po yan?
Yun.
Oh, oh, oh.
Nasa ano na tayo. Okay.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yes.
I can see the light. I think it's secret chamber.
Yes.
There are secret chambers.
Turn right.
Take it and right.
There's a secret chamber. Left in front. Kaya na lang. Kaya na lang po yan. Hindi na. Ay, ano tayo ulit?
Oh, there's ancient writings. Baby loves boy. with the H on both, ha?
Bakit walang bats?
Dapat ano po, we should explore that para hindi na po makagulit.
Oh, stop, careful.
Cockroach, oh.
Ancient cockroach? Ancient. World War II.
There's more tunnels. Is this a secret chamber going to nowhere? Oh my God, it's very deep.
Okay, so we're now, for me, this is one of the most important tunnel ever existing at present in the whole Philippines. No ordinary tunnel, it's the tunnel headquarters of the first combined air fleet, meaning the Japanese Imperial Air Forces that were mobilized here for the Leyte operation. You know, the first air fleet was here by Admiral Onishi, so he founded the kamikaze special attack forces in Mabalaca, then spread the whole Philippines, Taiwan, Japan, even in Korea and China. So they moved here on November 19, 1944 from Manila, Nichols Field, because the Americans daily they were conducting bombing raids, even in Clark Field, Bamban Airfield, Mabalaca. Every Japanese held airfield in the Philippines at that time, because they were the superpower, and the Japanese were already dwindling down on their resources, even the aircraft. So Onishi moved here with the first air fleet. He was in command of the first air fleet, and the second air fleet moved here to join the combined air fleet against MacArthur's Navy in Leyte Gulf. So unknown to many, it was from this airfield center of Clark that the Japanese were conducting bombing and kamikaze operations at Leyte. And when the American intelligence forces were able to decipher and known of the origins of the Japanese raids, they decided to bomb every airfield in Luzon. So the combined fleet from Nichols moved into this place. First, it was at the entrance of the tunnel, the location of the peace shrine. But because of the air raid, so they decided to move here. And when I was in Japan, I told Moji-san, could you please draw your headquarter tunnel? And this is the, who knows Japanese here, katakana, hiragana. You can read this. It is, I think this is east here. This is the east here. And based on Moji-san's memory, so that's the entrance, the exit, and we are now on the inside. And it told me, this is where Onishi had, and this is the place.
Diretso mo lang.
Diretso, wag kang titingin dyan. Pag tumingin ka dyan,
Lalo kumano. Diretso.
mababaw lang yan. Kahit mahulog ka dyan, kukunin ka namin.
Diretso lakad. Diretso lang lakad. Yan.
Diretso.
Yes, diretso. Yan. Diretso.
Come here.
There's an exit also.
Okay. Medyo malalim.
Ba't may butas ka?
Ito, treasure hunters.
Diretso mo lang.
Okay.
Huwag titingin sa kalwa.
Okay.
Babalay dyan.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Whew, that was... Okay. Going to another tunnel.
Yung ganito lang yung headquarter.
Balisan Sayaw.
Balin sa sayo.
That's El Nido.
Bird's nest.
Wow.
Ang cute.
I think
Bird's nest.
ang bat wala namang nest, no? Doon sila sa pouch nung meron din. Meron din. Mga tanan meron din.
Oh, okay. These are bird nests. Balisan Sayaw. El Nido. I think this is being made into a soup, a nido soup. Bird's nest. Yes.
Okay nga eh. Akala ko nga gawa na ng tao.
Oh, there's another exit. And it leads to a house. Oh, there's an exit.
Yes.
And we're somewhere. We're somewhere.
There's an exit. Yes, an exit. Exit. Yes. Finally, nakalabas na tayo. And I hope we're not going back. dito na tayo. Dito tayo babalik. Oh my gosh.
Of course, courtesy of the owners, if they allow the destruction of these tunnels, it will be a lost heritage. And I would like to commend Mr. Magyari here. That's the guy. I called him. We were having a visitor and to clean this up. And he really cleans the entrance of the tunnel, and that's
Very good. Thank you po.
appreciating. And 8 years when the wars ended, and still we have this one.
So this is a metal detector.
Yeah.
Yes, in action.
What does it do?
It detects metal, of course.
Of course.
Bravo!
Bravo. It's very bright.
But wala ka bang nakikitang yung high pitch na parang may high pitch yan eh. Tignan mo nga. Yeah.
Yan ba?
May coins.
Sige na, kakalin mo nga yan. Tignan mo nga yan.
We're detecting something.
In real time.
Yun!
Okay. We're detecting something.
Oh!
Oh, that's a metal.
Bala yan. Ayan, isa bala.
There's a metal wire. Oh, this one.
Ayan o.
Oh my God!
Bullet!
Bullet case.
Bullet case!
Yeah. I think that's 7.7 Arisaka.
Oh my gosh.
Japanese Arisaka.
Wait lang.
There are bullets.
Marami kami nakukuha.
7.7 Arisaka. Bullet casing.
How would you please take a video?
Yes.
How are you?
7.7 Arisaka.
Ayun nakakuha si body o.
Yes, these are, we detected bullets. Using metal
Bullet
detectors.
casing.
Yes.
6.5. 6.5.
Palabas na kami. Sa tunnel number 3. Yes, we're going out.
Okay, we'll line up for the photograph. Okay.
tunnel number 3 done. Ayun sa likod natin. And we're now moving to another tunnel. Tunnel number 4. It's already 12:52. Tuloy pa rin ang ating exploration. So, naandito pa rin tayo sa may Peace Memorial dito sa Bamban. A Japanese Peace Memorial. So, today is one of the most, I would say, emotional adventure that we did. We were able to visit several Japanese tunnels. I didn't realize the magnitude and complexities of the tunnels built by the Japanese during Second World War. We also visited the museum wherein we were able to see the relics or remnants of soldiers, people who were involved during the Second World War, from Japanese to Filipinos to American. This has been a very important trip here in Bamban. I never realized the history of this place. Ang daming tinatagong istorya, lalo na inside the caves. And also when we were roaming around one of the caves and using metal detector, accidentally we found several bullet casing. So I guess this place has to be preserved. It has to be supported by the national government. People must visit this place to be able to have a glimpse of the heroism of our forefathers, from Filipinos to Japanese to Americans, so that the war will never happen again. So again, that's it. If you have a chance, do visit the World War II Museum in Bamban and join the tour being booked by Mr. Rhonie, the tunnel, Japanese tunnel tour. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Travel while you can, and see you in the next vlog. See you soon.
Okay, so thank you very much for all the adventures, and I hope in the future when we have another route, you can still join us. One thing that I could tell you about our World War II history, it's gonna be unique. There might be other tour guides in this place, but ours is quite unique because I am more in-depth historian. But everybody has its own way of showing history is made. But for us, it should be a unique one, just like what we have heard from you. And all the three tunnels and the last